Today we're going to preview number 3 Georgia hosting number 7 Notre Dame, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time, and I'm joined by my best friend Ron. We're going to break down Notre Dame versus Georgia. We're going to start with quarterbacks. All right, so I got stats. He's got stats. I honestly think that Jake Fromm is the better quarterback here, but, I could see why you might not. Ron.
Yeah, I think there's varying metrics that you can use for good. I don't think there's anybody that can say that Ian Book right now, 2 games in the season, is a bad quarterback. He's doing it, making it look relatively easy against the competition that he has. But I would say that they're just 2 different styles, right? So I would agree with you that Jake Fromm's probably better with the as a prospect, but you can't overlook Ian Book.
Okay, so kind of going to go through some stuff because I wrote it down. Jake Fromm this season, 5 TDs, 0 interceptions. I always put an emphasis on how many interceptions a quarterback is thrown because your first priority and your number one responsibility is to take care of the football, and we're not going to let you play quarterback if you don't do that. 0 interceptions, good indicator. You can take care of the football and do nice things with it. 5 passing TDs. 206 to 306 passes. That's 75% this season through 3 games. We can keep yelling about Vanderbilt and Murray State and Arkansas State and what that means, but those are the games, people. Just don't yell at me. Yell at whoever put the schedule together. His passing numbers this year, 601 yards. It's not a whole lot, but you'll understand why they don't really do much of that here in a little bit. I also thought this stat was interesting. Now, 65% passing on the season, or on the career, 65.7%. He was 13-2 in 2017 as a starter, win-losses. 12-2 in 2018, 3-0 to start 2019. Means he's 28-4 as a starter, which is pretty doggone good. Mm-hmm. And third year is kind of the magic year as a 3-year starter when you're about to see the field and you're going to have the answers before the questions are asked, all that sort of, whimsy-wazzy ESPN-y stuff. But who's got the best record among active quarterbacks today when it comes to wins and losses? Be Jalen Hurts. I thought that was interesting. 29-2 as a starter.
He's good.
He's real good. He's real good. Back to Jake Fromm, 59 TDs versus 13 interceptions for his career. Right now, he ranks 8th in passer efficiency rating at 194.6. Now, Ian Book, 2 games. And we all know that Notre Dame plays a light schedule and what I might call, in some instances, a soft schedule. But, it depends on who you're talking to. Because when you start out with Louisville and New Mexico, you better be back-ended. 6 TDs versus 0 INTs, 29 of 47, 62% passing. 553 yards. Took the job last season from Brandon Wimbush after Brian Kelly decided that the passing attack was not good, but not great. And he wanted to be something different, I guess. Brandon Wimbush, he sat the bench, transfers to UCF where he's riding the bench again. Ian Book, 8-1 in 2018 as a starter, 2-0 in 2019 as a starter, was 1-0 in his only start in 2017, makes him 11-1 as a starter for his career, 29 TDs, 11 interceptions. Passer rating this year ranks 5th, 202.70, padded stats against New Mexico and the home opener and whatnot, and we can get into that, but anything strike you in there, Ron?
It's the fact that Ian Book can make a lot of plays with his legs, which he has shown to do. I think he has benefited from a little bit of bad play calling against him, but you can only play against who you are playing against. So he's done the...
Unpack it, because we unpacked it when the tape wasn't rolling, but unpack why you think he has been the beneficiary of bad defensive play calling.
Louisville and New Mexico both spied him with defensive tackles and tried to hold a non-rush outside contain with their defense ends. It kind of gave him all the time that he needed for the defense to break down and to manipulate his offensive line or the defensive line to go ahead and make another play with his legs. He is, for as good as he is, he's actually not complete. He's only completing 62% of his passes, which in the modern game is not amazing. It's just fine.
It's where you're supposed to be.
Exactly. It's good. So if you're somebody like Georgia, which I think would probably have the athletes to let him be spied by defensive tackles, I don't think they're probably going to do that, and it's going to be probably a more uphill game for him.
This is a predictions and previews video, so who do you predict is going to spy Ian Book?
I think it's going to be Crowder for Georgia. I think that they're going to
spy with the safety.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And they're going to let the defensive line, because Georgia's defensive line doesn't do anything particularly special. They're just going to let the pocket collapse, make your boy Book make a play, and then chase him down.
All right.
And they might light him up.
Well, yeah, because he cuts back and then, hey, how are you?
Exactly.
Yeah, how you doing? How your mama doing? Tell her I said hi. No, I can see that. Georgia's so fast. Well, Georgia's so fast. Like, the more I dug into this team, the more I'm legitimately afraid of this team. And I don't feel that way about Alabama. I don't feel that way about Ohio State. I don't feel that way about Clemson. I certainly don't feel that way about Notre Dame. Georgia, yeah, man. Even LSU, I think Oklahoma could roll with everybody except this Georgia team. And I know that I'm probably going to catch just all kinds of hell for saying that. But I'm here to deliver the truth as I see it and honesty as I see it. And Georgia plays ridiculously good defense and does not turn the ball over, can go 5 deep at tailback, has wideouts that can beat you. We'll get into it, but they're just good. I do want to pivot just a little bit to Notre Dame and its secondary, because I really like Kyle Hamilton, and many of you Notre Dame fans know this is a homecoming for Kyle Hamilton. He's from Atlanta. He's from the area and went to Marist. He's an outstanding safety. You heard stories about him getting like 6 and 7 picks during training camp, which is another way of me thinking that maybe the quarterbacks at Notre Dame ain't that good because the true freshman safety's picking off passes from you. But, he had a pick against, not Louisville, New Mexico. They had 3 in that game. So they've got 6 takeaways, but 3 fumble recoveries against Louisville, 3 picks against New Mexico. Fine. I think that's fine. Jalen Elliott and, Sean Crawford each had a pick against New Mexico. Again, New Mexico, but, give them the picks, right? Give them the picks. I don't think the matchup is going to be that favorable for Georgia on the outside, because I think that Elliott and Crawford can run with those guys, in particular Dominick, Blaylock, and George Pickens. We'll get into them a little bit more, but Dominick Blaylock is Mookie Blaylock's kid, in case you didn't know.
I did not know that.
Okay. To which the question I get asked is, how does an Oklahoma men's basketball player end up with a kid that plays football at Georgia? I don't know, man. It is what it is.
Mookie Blaylock.
Hazelwood ended up at Oklahoma. People thought he was going to end up at Georgia. What do you want?
Mookie Blaylock, player of the Hawks. I can see it.
What? Right. All right. Comebacks on that.
So let me ask you this, because the Georgia wide receivers are pretty green. They're showing a lot of talent, and if this was a 7 versus 7, I can absolutely see that Notre Dame being able to go with them step for step. How do you see how the Notre Dame secondary will handle a game time situation with, say, knowing that Georgia's probably going to have a lot of protection?
Can you get him in 3rd and 7? Can you get Georgia in 3rd and 7 where the secondary can actually do some work? Like, that's literally, no. and we go there, but that's my question.
And that's a fantastic question, because
it's not gonna matter, because
Georgia is maybe the best second down team in the country. So I guess if you could get them to 3rd down, you are way ahead of the ball on this one. And
they were amazing on second down last year as well. So that's a really good note, because they don't see a lot of 3rd and longs because they are so good on second down in particular. But also, Notre Dame doesn't really have a pass rush, or at least I don't think they have a pass rush.
No,
because you're also looking. I mean, we can talk about the film and whatnot, but statistically, 4 sacks, 2 games. One of those games against New Mexico State. If we're going to give you points for 6 or for 3 interceptions and a pick 6, we're going to ding you for not really having that many sacks, man. Whereas perspective, like you're saying, Georgia doesn't really do anything particular on the defensive line, and they still have 12 sacks in 3 games.
Yeah, they're keeping it pretty vanilla, and there's a little bit of the ain't play nobody, but whatever. Is that's still a lot of numbers to rack up for a team that doesn't blitz a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're just sending for.
Mm-hmm. And they have outstanding, what I would call pass rushers, because Jermaine Johnson is that dude. Nolan Smith is that dude. They can go 3-4 deep, at a pass rush position, at that outside linebacker position, at the premier position, and be fine. And you've seen a lot of base vanilla defense from Georgia because they ain't got to run nothing, man. Kirby Smart has a defense called CAT. Means our cats are better than your cats. Okay? Most of the time, if you ask us, we're playing too high because we don't have to bring an eighth man down in the box. We will, right? As they showed against Vanderbilt, but they ain't got to do that because we talked about Crowder, but J.R. Reed is cited by many as the best player on the defense. How you want it, dog? It's just like you want us to run it. Run it. We dare you. We dare you. And I feel really awkward. Like you're saying, they'll send 4. Frequently, guards get to the second level, and it doesn't matter.
No, it's absolutely true. And if you've been watching the Notre Dame games, Notre Dame has a what I would say is awfully cute play calling. And I don't know if it's going to work stretching this defense side to side. It'll absolutely work against New Mexico. Don't think it's going to work so much against Georgia.
And
it won't be as effective.
No, not at all. And I add to that, Jake Fromm doesn't have to work, as many people like to point out. Like, if you're going to point out something that...
I've never seen a quarterback work less.
Right. Because 6'5", 328 on average across the offensive line. It's the biggest offensive line in Georgia football history. Okay, start with that. Andrew Thomas is probably going to get drafted in the first round. He really is that good at left tackle. But then they go 5 deep at running back. And a lot of people say they go 5 deep, like Oklahoma says it goes 5 deep. Talent, I think Oklahoma does with Marks Major, TJ Pledger when they're healthy. But you know what? They play all 5 running backs consistently at Georgia. Check this out. I'm going to run these numbers. DeAndre Swift, we all know, right? As they like to say a million times over, 1,000-yard back from a year ago. Okay. 31 rushes, 290 yards, 9.4 yards per carry. That's number 1. Number 2, Zamir White, 19 rushes, 141 yards, 7.4 yards per carry. Kenny McIntosh, 13 carries, 128 yards, 9.8 yards per carry. Brian Arian, 21 carries, 121 yards, 5.8 yards per carry. And then my favorite, James Cook, who's an all-purpose back that they will line up, not unlike DeMarco Murray was lined up when he was at Oklahoma, slot, wherever. He's got, 14 touches for 11.4 yards. So if he's catching the ball, he's going for it first. But you could say that about literally 3 of the 5, and the other 2 are averaging better than 6 yards per carry, or better than 5 yards per carry, 5.8.
To look at this team, you wouldn't imagine that they are so explosive because they look like they're just a train going on time. Like if you're watching this channel, I imagine that you're a Sooner fan. You've been watching Jalen Hurts carve up teams for the past 3 weeks, and it is amazing, exciting looking football. Georgia doesn't look like that. It's the reason why they're the best second down team in the country, as opposed to just having first down after first down after first down. It's because, all right, well, they got 7 yards, and then they got another 8 yards, and then they got another 7 yards. So on and so forth until they get 50 points a game.
They average 7.6 yards per carry. That's like Oklahoma's doing that, all right? And Oklahoma is historically good, like historically awesome running the football the last 3 to 10 games, depending on how you want to look at it. But 7.6 is a gaudy number. It's even gaudier when you know that production is evenly distributed. Like at Oklahoma, it's Jalen Hurts, and then it's kind of Trey Sermon, it's kind of Kennedy Brooks, it's kind of Ramondre Stevenson. At Georgia, it's all 5 of these dudes. All 5 of them. They're all contributing. They run the ball more than they throw the ball. They run the ball 58% of the friggin' time. I don't see Notre Dame as having a front that stands up to that. I just don't see it. Plus, you lost a lot at linebacker. Everybody loved Danny Tranquill, and he's gone. All right? Even Notre Dame fans are talking to me going, yeah, man, we ain't got it at linebacker like we wanted it. Add to this the defense. Like, let's assume that Notre Dame's strength is his offense, right? Let's assume that you got players and guys like Chase Claypool. You got other dudes like, what's Avery's last name? I wrote it down. What's Avery's last name? I'm going to mess that up. Point is, he's an explosive dude, right? They've got 3 explosive guys that I really, really like. Though I see Ron was out here going, let me write some of these guys' names down. I'm like, nah, I got the numbers, I got the stats, it's fine. Apparently it was not, because I wrote them down, and now I don't know where my notes are.
Sorry, my computer crashed.
Let's see, 8.7 yards per play versus 7.8 yards per play. Georgia versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame has scored 35 points off turnovers in 2 games. That's good. Georgia has given up, what? Hasn't given up a red zone touchdown. Wait. Yeah. And they scored 16 to 17 times when they got into the red zone. Then I took a look at third down defense. Georgia, 14 to 47, 29.8%. Yeah. Notre Dame is 10 to 33, about 30%, right? And then we keep going. Notre Dame allowed just 3 points over the last 19 series, so they stand up. They also have played 93 defensive snaps, 275 yards, or 2.96 yards per play, 6 takeaways. Get the ball to your playmakers. Javon McKinley, Chase Claypool, and Avery Davis. See, I got there.
Don't
Just had
forget
to read
about
my
Tremblay.
notes.
The tight end, he's real good.
Who?
Tremblay.
Please, go deep on him.
Oh, I will not. All I'm doing is that if you throw the ball to him on a crossing route, he'll get you 17.
That's kind of how I felt about Asai watching him against UCLA and Oklahoma. It's like, yo, man, that dude's been open all day. You just found him in the 4th or 3rd, whatever it was.
I think so earlier you said that if we were to assume that the offense is the best part about Notre Dame, while I do think that's true, I think that is it's a shaky proposition, because I think that the offense for Notre Dame is predicated on Ian Book being able to run and make plays happen. He makes the offense look good, as opposed to, say, for Jake Fromm, the offensive line and the running backs make Jake Fromm look good.
Right.
And they all work together. So if for some reason either quarterbacks catch the flu, Notre Dame would be in incredible amounts of trouble. I say that compared to their defense, which I think is actually good. It's good in the classic Notre Dame way.
Hold on. Before you tell me how they're good in a classically Notre Dame way, one of the things that we need to do is do the read.
Absolutely. Get that money.
Remember that? My bookie is sponsoring this preview and this upload. So, check this out. I would only recommend a service to my listeners that's proven. That's why my bookie is always the right play. You bet, you win, they pay. My bookie lets you bet on which college coaches will get fired, who will make the college football playoff, and the Heisman Trophy. You can even bet on halftime lines, live odds, or FBS versus FCS games. Up to $1,000 in first deposit bonus. Double your first deposit. Use the promo code RJ. That is my name. RJ, no periods, just the 2 letters to activate the offer. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie, MYBOOKIE. And don't forget to use the promo code RJ, my name. 2 letters, no periods, RJ. And when creating your account, to do that, to claim the bonus, bet, win, get paid. I probably maybe use some money if you were paying attention to my picks. Yes, we got beat on BYU and Stanford, or in USC. We got beat on Iowa State and Iowa, but we won Kansas State and Mississippi State, and we won Virginia versus Florida, and we won Kentucky with the spread. I mean, I can keep going here. I mean, I can. But heading into week 3, that's 25-11 against the spread. That's 29-7 straight up. And if you're just paying attention, I win way more than I lose. I'm actually pretty good at this because I study. Because I take these notes and I put them into a projection. And then I go give you picks. And we win together. So go to my bookie. Put my name in there. Go get some money. All right, so you're going to tell me how it's classically good Notre Dame defense.
Right, so a big, stout 3-man front with a lot of active linebackers. Your big men up front suck by a lot of blockers. Your linebackers go there and are sure tacklers and stretch things to the outside. Make sure that things bounce out as opposed to gouging you from the inside. They do that. I think they're very consistent at that. But it's also the thing that is their hugest weakness whenever they play big-time SEC football teams over the past few years. They get to these games and that their big, stout 3-man front cannot do anything with a big SEC offensive line. And that might be the case this time too. They're going to do the thing that they usually do, is try to suck up blockers and have active linebackers, but as we've gone, this might be the biggest offensive line Notre Dame will ever face, with the deepest set of running backs they might see all year.
Yes. I think we would also be remiss if we did not just take a peek back at Clemson versus Notre Dame. Remember how that went? Remember how good that was? 3 points.
Great example.
I think this is a better Georgia team than that was a Clemson team, and I'm not kidding. I genuinely believe that. They can go deeper. They can go longer. There's a very bad joke in there.
I can't see it.
Somebody make it in the comments below. But make it cleanly so I don't have to delete it later. All right? So flex your imagination on it. Did it again. Point is, Clemson showed everybody who Notre Dame was, and at least this time, we expect Georgia to expose Notre Dame so we don't have to deal with Notre Dame in the college football playoff or in the conversation for the college football playoff anymore, because they managed to go undefeated in a schedule that they get to pick every single year because they're independent. And I'm terribly against independents being able to compete for my college football playoff national championship, because you ain't got to go through a conference championship like the rest of us. I would much rather see Central Florida go undefeated, Boise State go undefeated, and then muck up the college football playoff than watch Notre Dame get in there and not piss a drop again. We're talking about Notre Dame team that just can't win a New Year's Six Bowl. So Georgia, do us all a favor. Dismantle this team so that we don't have to hear their names anymore. Because the only people that like Notre Dame football are Notre Dame fans, which is a really difficult thing to do. Because there are even Texas fans that might go, hey, yo, look, well, that might be a stretch. That's a stretch too. There are Big 12 fans that would love to see Georgia beat up on Notre Dame because they can't stand Notre Dame.
That is Notre Dame's biggest weakness in this game, is that they're not playing Notre Dame. Everybody wants to beat Notre Dame more than they want to beat Georgia.
Also, they are an example of the elitist system. I got a buddy of mine. It's a really good friend of mine. He works in sports, and he's been nothing but kind to me. He's an older dude. And older to me is like 47. So whatever. Catch feelings if you want to. I'm 32. You're old. I can't wait to be old. You'll be privileged. Or I'll be privileged too when I get to be your age. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to tell all the young people what they're doing and what they're not doing and get mad at them because they make videos on YouTube versus all of the things that you had to do to get to where you are. Whatever, okay? Let's be friends about this. Point is, my buddy is very cool, and I really like him. The only thing that's wrong with him is he's a Notre Dame fan. And he's a Notre Dame fan who was not raised in Indiana or Chicago or anywhere abouts. My man's was raised in New Mexico, okay? He's a Subway alum. Ron, you know what Subway alumni of Notre Dame are?
No, please tell me.
Subway alumni of Notre Dame are people that didn't go to Notre Dame, didn't get into Notre Dame, couldn't care less about going to school at Notre Dame, but love Notre Dame football, okay? I think there's a lot to that because there's always this joke about, hey, did this guy even go to Oklahoma? Yeah, I got my master's there. Or the dude that's never been to Austin who roots for Texas. Why discriminate? I hate that. But they do that at Notre Dame because it'd be like, you can always tell there's an air of difference between Subway alum and people that went to school there. And I'd be like, wait a second, don't y'all root for the same team? What's the problem there? Why are the elitism? Because you're Notre Dame. And you know what? I keep my acceptance letters for undergrad and law school to Notre Dame just so I can flex on y'all. All right? I can't. I'm from America, right? Where the game is not that you want haves and have not. You want everybody to have the opportunity to be a have and have not. Capitalistic system. Right? Capitalistic system. Capitalistic society. Which is to say that equality is giving everybody the same opportunity to suck. All right? The issue that you run into as an elitist is that once the people who have been second class for so long get an opportunity to compete on the same field that you do, we kick your ever-loving behinds because we know how to do this.
Somebody's going to say, oh, you guys are just hating on Notre Dame.
Yes!
You sound like a Notre Dame fan. Let me tell you this. If you're out there in the gym playing skins and you find out that one of the people in your party is a Notre Dame fan or a Notre Dame alum, you got to beat that guy.
Oh, man.
You got to beat that guy. You might not have to beat everybody else, but you got to beat that Golden Domer.
You know, and this also is an illustration whereas Notre Dame fans are like, yo, no, I'll take you on a golf course. I'll beat you on these links. Let me get you on a bowling alley, dog. Okay? Let me get you in a game of pickup. All right? Huh? Go down to Georgia and see if you can win a game of cornhole. Okay? Let's play some of these ghetto white trash.
Georgia fans, we picked you. We're picking you right now.
There you go. think that's good enough. Is that good enough?
I think so.
All right. That's it for us. Deuces.